I have no idea if I'm live or not. Let me check here. I think maybe I am live. I apologize. Let me just check around really quick to see if I've gone live. Yes, I have. Okay, wonderful. It's saying live now. So if anybody is here, if they can give me a shout out. Last time I thought I was live and I wasn't. So hopefully this time I'm actually live. So again, if anybody is out there, that would be great to give me a shout. Anyways, today what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Mars. And hold on here. Okay, there we go. That was a rough beginning. Mars is retrograde, you guys. So it's tough on all of us. So I just want to do a recap of this week. I won't make a long video, but I really wanted to touch base on the tempers, the anger, the natural disasters that are happening everywhere. And it's just really amazing how it's affecting everybody in such a different way. Um, and you can hear my roommate back there yelling and screaming. And she's been like this since Mars has stationed and has gone retrograde. She's been very overly dramatic, very pushy, bossy. Bless her heart, she's not dealing with the energy very well. So I just kind of wanted to maybe do a recap on maybe what you guys are feeling in particular in your life. So I'm going to go through the 12 signs, that just a really brief one, because I know it's been a tough week. I know the disasters out there, the fires in Oregon and Washington and California are really bad. I think Denver, Colorado has some type of snowstorm. I mean, there's been just some weird weather going on. But again, Mars is going Gandanta. So it's backing up over the Gandanta point, we'll be going back into the sign of Pisces, and then don't forget on the when it's 22 degrees, it's going to station again and go back over the Gandanta point. So it's going to be quite turbulent for the world on a global scale for the next 3-4 months. So I can't wait till 2021. But again, being an astrologer and looking at all of this, it's really, really amazing to see how it's affecting everybody so differently, but yet the energies are the same. So why don't we start with Aries? If you're an Aries ascendant, this is all about you really having to look within yourself, and your own actions, and not start blaming other people if you're angry or life's not going right for you. Look to see what your personal actions are, and have been to lead you up to this point in your life. The first house is all about our body, but it's all about ourself also. So I'm not going to get into physical symptoms. I'm just getting into the emotional. But on a broader scale, speaking of physical symptoms, you guys be really watch out for your heart and your blood pressure, because Mars is retrograde and it's really intense. And we all know that when Mars goes retrograde, or any planet goes retrograde, it's really, really close to the Earth and very intense. So let's go on to second house. If you have Aries in your second house, this is really about keeping your temper, of course, and don't get mad at your family, but look at your values and what are you doing that's right or wrong, as far as family values go. And check what your values are. So this is an excellent time with being retrograde in your second house. Third house, communications and short traveling. So if Mars is transiting your third house, be careful about how you communicate things. Be nice. Be careful about speaking out in anger and publicly speaking out in anger. It may get you in trouble. So again, just look at how you're speaking to people. Remember, Aries is all about what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong. Okay, this isn't about other people. Um, Fourth house. Oh, and short-term travel, of course, you guys. Be careful with short-term travel. This is a time that accidents can really happen by careless drivers, angry drivers. So Mars is always, especially in K2 and in the sign of Aries, can be very, very aggressive, very fast, not thinking, and can have some really horrible accidents, you guys, in short-term travel. Fourth house, this is all about our, what makes us happy. So this is a time where instead of exploding and feeling that anger, look at in your life what you need to change to make yourself happy. Use that Mars in the right way instead of coming out and just exploding and being angry because you're not happy. This is all about, especially with Aries in the fourth house, what are you doing to make you happy? Fifth house, love, romance, and children. How is everybody's children doing through this? Maybe some people's children are driving them crazy. Be gentle and be nice, because you know what? These guys are just don't know how to handle this strong energy. But also this is about romance and love, also in the fifth house. Dating, if you will, maybe not so much love. But with Mars being retrograde, maybe we need to relook at how we're dating, and who we're dating. What is your part in it, if it's going well or if it's not going well? Again, look at what you're doing and not what the other person necessarily is doing. And maybe you need to clean some things up and change who you're dating. Just a few ideas, and the kids, watch the kids with the sports. Make sure that they're safe and they're not going to overdo it. Again, this energy is really, really strong, so it can really backfire and accidents can happen in sports for the children. So just watch out for the kids. Sixth house. This is the house of health. And now, one thing that's beautiful about Mars being in the sign of Ashwini, especially in the sixth house, the Kumar twins, these guys are the healers. Now, with that being said, with though Mars going retrograde, watch out for your whoever's traveling in the sixth house. Watch out for your health, but also watch out for enemies. Now, sixth house is open enemies; it's not hidden enemies. And just remember that Mars is always aspecting the opposite sign of the transit of the house that it's placed in. But this is a time where maybe some enemies that you didn't know were there are going to come out, or maybe who you thought was an enemy wasn't an enemy. So just kind of relook at your battles. Maybe you thought you lost a court case. Mars is going retrograde. We'll go back, and maybe you end up having a turnaround in the case and you win. I mean, this is all about, Mars or any planet being retrograde, you guys. It's relooking, revisiting it, right? Not starting something new by any means, but just re-looking at how you're doing things. And again, this is Aries is all about what you're doing, not the other person. Aries is very much self-oriented. So guys, be really careful about being really selfish out there too. Another seventh house, yes, partnerships. Aries, what are you doing in the partnership? How are you contributing to the partnership? Are you being selfish? Are you being angry? How are you treating your partner? Again, this is all about you. This also can really, if you use the energy right, can really liven up the relationship in the right way also. So, just remember that, because, sex, oh, did I just say that online? Mars is also likes to I don't want to use that word on online. I felt so uncomfortable with it. But anyways, he likes to get it on also. And so in the house of partnerships, this most certainly can happen. So it can really liven up your partnership in the right way if you use the energy in the right way. Other than that, if you use it in the wrong way, it can really cause a lot of conflict and breakups, you guys. So be really careful about not getting into a place where you end up ending something um, that shouldn't have been ended in the first place. Eighth house, this is events that are not in your control, unexpected events. Also, eighth house is about partnerships, the after you get with your partner and you marry them and now you're going to live your life together. This is that part of partnerships, and I know people even don't think about eighth house being like that. um that portion of the partnership, but it certainly is. And so this is a really good time about if you need to draw boundaries, clean out that eighth house. Are you being treated correctly? Do you like how you're being treated? Do you need to draw boundaries? Maybe you do need to end something. And of course, meditation is always a really good thing at this time, and using this energy. Just remember, don't get mad at somebody else. Make sure that you're solid with yourself, that you are putting in the right resources and the right temperament, and you're doing right by the partnership. It's not, again, just all about your the other person. You have to look at what you're doing. But at the same time, if you need to, clean out and draw some really strong boundaries, this is a great time to do it. Now, also, you'll be experiencing unexpected events, people that are angry, hollering, screaming around you, that you have no control over it. Just go with it, smile, go meditate. That's my advice. Ninth house. Ninth house is such a huge meaning, but be careful not to get in any arguments with your father, by the way. And, I didn't mention this in the fourth house. Fourth house, be careful not to get into any unnecessary fights and arguments with your mom. Be really careful with that. You may have to draw boundaries with her if it's called for, but just be careful not to be yelling and screaming at her. Remember, you create your own happiness. Ninth house, again, the same thing with the father in the ninth house. If Mars is transiting your ninth house, now we're talking about not only getting along with your father, but also talk about getting along with your bosses. We're talking about getting along with your instructors or professors in school. You may be wanting to reevaluate what you're doing in school and maybe back off a little bit, maybe add a little bit more. Um, be careful not to get into any unnecessary fights with your professors. So always look at what you're doing first before you want to blame somebody else. And the same thing with your father. Don't get in any unnecessary fights with your father. Make sure that you're doing right by him. So always, when you're pointing fingers, remember there's three fingers pointing back at you. 10th house, this is your place of work. This is a great time to maybe go back and revisit about getting a job that you already applied for, or what you're doing as far as a career. Good time to reevaluate that, and maybe do something more of what you really want. But don't bulldoze people over either in your workplace, or in your career. Be really careful not to come out, I am the boss. Mars is really strong. And if it's the ruler of the 10th house, you could be a powerhouse. So just be careful that you don't get so powerful that you run people over and damage your career and your reputation. You don't want that. 11th house, if Mars is transiting your 11th house, this is all about, what are you doing in society? Are you out there angry in society and shouting and being mad and, maybe part of the riots? Right? Or are you doing something to really help society? So what are you doing? out there for the betterment of society. So this is a really good opportunity for you to relook at what you're doing. Again, you know, when we are blaming other people and we're out pushing out anger, then we're going to get anger right back. So if you're angry out in society, you're going to get that right back at you, right? And that's, of course, with any house. So be really, really careful. 12th house. You know, this is, again, this is about foreign places and traveling, which is not going to be happening right now, especially with Mars being retrograde in the 12th house. But this is also about secret enemies. And I'm going to tell you right now, you with Aries being in your 12th house, you could be your own secret enemy. And maybe that's going to come out at this time. That's just one way. Or you're going to have secret enemies be revealed at this time. This will be a really good time to watch out and see this. But you know, another really good thing, especially with Mars being in K2, and if you embrace this energy, you can really get some beautiful insights, higher knowledge when you're meditating and you're isolated, right? So this may be the time that you just want to isolate, and hopefully it's for good reasons and not negative reasons. But meditation can be a wonderful tool right now for you to really bring in that divine knowledge. So I think I covered all the 12 houses. I didn't want to go too long today, but you know, you guys, everybody with this energy of Mars, you know, if we turn it inward to change ourselves, some really, really, really good things can happen. Miraculous things can happen in our life because we can really make different choices for our life to make it a lot better. You know, that's including, you know, what are we doing every day? What is our habits? What's our schedules? And so if we turn this around and meditate and just pour out this love and just get rid of all that anger, you know, and that's another thing. And I know I've been doing pranic healing with Master Stephen Co. But I'm going to tell you what, if you turn this energy inward and clean out your solar plexus, this can make you very abundant in the near future. If you have that chakra, um, clogged up with anger and hostility and, you know, just bitterness, this really does shut the flow off of the energy to your money chakras, your root and your sacral and your navel chakra. So do yourself a favor and meditate and get rid of that anger and that resentment that you may be carrying from the past. And even though you don't think so, if you're not abundant and you're not wealthy, then I have to say you probably got some stuff going on that maybe you're not aware of that's in your root chakra. Mars retrograde, really powerful energy right now, is a perfect time to go in and relook at that solar plexus and get it cleaned out. Just some words of advice. So, you guys, this was my Venus Friday talk with everybody, and I'm sending out loves and blessings to each and every one of you. And I hope that you guys are doing wonderful and that you really are taking this time to reevaluate yourself and not be angry with everybody else. So I will see you guys tomorrow for my weekly transit with Siobhan. And I guess that's it. So, namaste.